high and low for you. Searching high and low for you. Yeah, 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 yeah. Searching high and low for you. High and low for you. Searching high and low for you.
You're gonna get into it
Yeah, let's
because
do it.
you definitely getting into some things that we definitely need to talk about, and I like
Yeah,
that
and I'll
honestly.
dive a lot deeper into it and like kind of repeat myself so that we got it on the recording. But yeah, man, it's I got so much I want to say and just do, and it's like instead of talking about it, bro, I'm just gonna start moving like that. Like it just seems like people are catching on to it. Like they see I'm associating myself with people that they don't normally see me with or don't even know I know.
Yeah,
Because the main thing with Youngstown right now, I would say is like a lot of people know of me, but they don't know about me. So they don't know whether to associate me with the hood. They don't know, like they don't know, bro. And like I
exactly.
love that because it's like that is me. Like I was raised on both sides of the track. So you really can't associate me with the hood because I'm not a hood dude. And like they know that. But that's kind of the reason why a lot of the street dudes respect me because they know like I'm not a street dude, but I also don't try to be one. I don't try to portray one. I don't rap about being one. And they respect that.
Okay.
And I've it's been a tough road because like a lot of people don't want to hear that stuff. I hate to say it, but like when you are very conscious and speaking about real life stuff and it doesn't pertain to the stuff most people push,
Right.
it's a harder road for you. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man. I pride myself on staying true to who I am. I don't care if it's gonna get me more views or more money. I don't care. Like I don't wanna have to live my life every day acting like I'm a trap dude when I know I'm deep down not. Like it's just silly to me. But yeah, man, let's get into this. Like any questions you
Okay.
got, like
Okay. So just to start it off, you know what I'm saying? You on Beyond, and
yes, sir.
just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, man. My name is Beatspere. I'm originally from Youngstown, Ohio. My real name is DeAndre Richardson for all the people out there that really know me personally, but to everybody else, it's Spear, Beat Spear. You know what I mean? I get beats sometimes, but whatever you feel comfortable with. Like I said, I'm originally from Youngstown, Ohio. I'm 29 years old. I've been doing music since I was like 11 years old. I started out as a music producer. And that's actually how I gave myself that name. So just to kind of break it down, the name Beat Spirit came from, obviously I started out as a producer. So that half of my name is Beats. Spear came from more of, so I started out as a producer and then I became a rapper. So I mean, most people know who William Shakespeare is. He's a poet.
Yeah.
So when I became an artist, that's how I got the second half of my name was a
Okay.
producer that became a poet, and that's how I became B Spear.
That's tough.
Um,
I can't even
yeah,
lie.
bro,
That's
it's
tough.
just
That's
yeah.
tough.
A lot of people just say my name, but they don't realize, and like a lot of people don't even ask. They just like, oh, that name's dope, but they don't really ask like, how'd you come up with it? And like literally, it took time. It just was like I think the funny story about it was I think years ago on Twitter, I had a pretty big Twitter account of like 54K. And I used to do the same thing like on TikTok. I used to just goof around, make funny tweets and stuff like that. And my name on there at one point, or like my little nickname was William Bakespeare, like on some like goofy like
Yeah.
stoner shit. And a friend of mine comes up to me and she's or like hits me up on DM and she's like, well, why don't you change your name to Beatspere? And I at first I was kind of like, that's corny, because it didn't really have a connotation to it as to why I'm adding beat and spear together. So
Yeah.
I don't really rock with it. So after, some time went by, like I became an artist. I started writing my own music, stuff like that. And I don't know, bro, it just hit me one day. It was like Beatspere, a rapper that became a poet. William Shakespeare was a poet or a producer that became a poet. I'm like, bruh. And I just ran with it, bro. I ain't even asked no questions. I didn't think about branding, nothing. I was just like, bro, I ain't never heard nothing like that. And
And
that's all
that's
that
who you
matters.
are now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I ain't never looked back.
Okay.
And that's how I got the name. So like just to kind of in a nutshell, as far as like my career and how I got to where I am, I started making beats when I was like 10 or 11. I self-taught myself how to play piano and instruments. So
Ooh.
I'm all self-taught. So like when it comes to reading music and all that, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you put a piano in front of me and a book, bro, I have no idea what you're talking about. But you know, that's the beauty of it, is that is how I realized I had a gift and not a talent. Rapping to me is a talent, like that I have personally for me, because I feel like it's not something that I can just do effortlessly. Like I have to spend a lot of time writing my music and all that. But when it comes to producing, bro, you could blindfold me. I could probably go deaf tomorrow and still make better beats than anyone. And that's just how I feel. Like, and it's stuff is just in me, bro. Um,
Okay.
you know, it took a long time for me to figure it out because I was an athlete. I went to Austin Town Fitch High School. I played basketball and football. I went on to play football at Ohio Dominican University out here in Columbus, Ohio. So, you
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
during all of that, you know, I was kind of making music behind closed doors. I didn't really tell friends, like stuff like that. And I kind of hit a fork in the road in college. Like, you know, football really wasn't as fun as I thought it was. My grades were plummeting. You know, I was partying too damn much, like shit like that. And I don't know, bro, I just hit a fork in the road. And I kid you not, man, it's a true story. I left college. I didn't even tell my coaches. I didn't look back. I didn't call nobody. I just bounced. Something in me was just like, this ain't for me. I just ain't it. And, you know, ironically, this was back in like 2013. So I was at Ohio Dominican from like 2010 to 13. So I played football there for a couple years. And then I just kind of hit this wall. Like, man, what am I doing? Like, this ain't fun. I'm not enjoying myself. Like, my grades aren't even good. I don't even like school to begin with. So I'm like, what am I doing here? And you know, I started just reaching out to friends back home and just cousins and stuff that I haven't talked to in a while. And you know, sure enough, my cousin Aaron Edwards, I don't know if you know who that is. He graduated from Ursuline. Amazing football player. Uh, you know, he told me like, man, yeah, bro, I'm back home. Like I was at a JUCO out in where was he at? I think Utah. And he decided kind of the same thing. He hit a fork in the road and just didn't want to play football anymore. So he moved back home, and you know, he something in me was just like, man, like I think moving home is a good idea, and just starting from from scratch. And even at this point in time, I didn't my brain wasn't thinking music. Like it still wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm gonna quit football to go with music. So you know, as weeks went on, I decided to move back home. And like long story short, he knew a dude named Charles Purdue. We call him Chuck. He played at Liberty, and essentially Chuck would just come hang out with us, smoke, and like I would just make beats and stuff, and they would just kick it. Like they didn't even make music at the time; they would just come
Yeah.
over and hang out. So I would sit there for hours, bro, just making beat after beat after beat, and these cats would just sit there and just watch and kick it. And in my opinion, I ain't never met nobody like that. Most people will stay for like 30 minutes and then they get bored, like, all right, bro, I gotta
Yeah.
go.
All right. Yeah.
Bro, these cats was day in and day out, bro, just right there with me, just like watching and just supporting. And you know, it got to the point where one day my dude Chuck, out of nowhere, he just goes, man, he's like, I really like y'all grind and y'all energy. He's like, I gotta introduce y'all to somebody that I think would be very beneficial to what y'all trying to do. And he knows a lot of people and he's doing this, that, and the third. And I ain't gonna lie, when he was telling me it, I was kind of like, whatever, bro. Like, you know, that type of thing. But he, you know, ended up going to this guy's Instagram and showing me some of the things he was involved in. And he was at MMG weekend down years ago in the hot tub with Rick Ross and Wale. And, you know, to a guy like me from Youngstown, Ohio, that has never seen anything like that, I was immediately mind blown, intrigued, and I was ready to meet this guy because I'm like, how is this dude from the same city as me, but yet he's doing that? So I'm like,
Yeah.
instantly it was one of those moments like, this is possible, you can do this, like there's a guy in your city doing it right now, so what are you moping around for? And I took him up on the offer. I'm like, I want to meet this guy, I want to shake his hand and I want to talk to him. So long story short, the guy's name is Terrell Vidal. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't.
That's
I
my
don't.
bro, that's my boy, man. I honestly, I don't even know where to begin to talk about Terrell, bro. He's probably one of the most hardworking, ambitious people I have ever met on this earth.
Okay.
Um, he's just super high energy, man, super motivational. And quite honestly, he inspired me to even get to where I am, just with some of the opportunities he thrown me and all that. And we'll get into that here in a second. But long story short, we sat down with him at Mogg Library at Youngstown State University, and it was just like a get to know him. Like, yo, I'm so and so. This is what I do. Blah blah blah. And it turned into a like, you know what? I really could use some help promoting an event that I have coming up in a week where I'm doing like 3 days of like the first 2 days will be like a showcase for artists to come perform in front of these like A&Rs. And then the third day he was bringing Mario, the R&B singer.
Yeah.
So, you know, imagine talking to someone for the first time and then them just saying, oh yeah, you want to help me pass out flyers for this? Yes, bro. What? You
Yes.
know what I mean? So we instantly just, you know, we was literally running around in the snow, bro, putting flyers on cars. Like we wasn't doing nothing special. You know, it just was helping him out, just to show
Yeah.
him that we really wanted to like be a part of what he was doing. So long story short, we get all the way up to Friday where it was the first, you know, event where it was just a showcase. Artists from around the city would come and perform in front of these A&Rs. One of them was Mario's DJ. So Mario's DJ came 2 days early and was at the like the little event. Some of the artists that were there were like J Trip. I don't know if you know who J Trip is. Joshua Triplet, he was there. Handsome, which is from Toledo, he's another big artist that at the time they were on the rise. Like they were just getting out there, and I happened to just be there. So here's where the story takes a turn. This is where my entire career got started. This moment right here, what I'm about to tell you, is probably the most important moment in my entire career. So we show up to the event. We're literally setting up chairs, bro. Just again, like I'm not an artist at the time. I wasn't rapping. I was just a producer. I had never been on stage, none of that. So just keep that in mind when I tell you what I'm about to tell you, because
Okay.
this is how it all unfolded. So we get to the show, we're setting up chairs, and Terrell, he like so anybody watching this interview that is gonna see this is gonna laugh at what I'm about to say, but Terrell is super high energy at his events, bro. He is nuts. That is not the time to try to have a serious conversation with him because that man is thinking 5,000 miles a minute and he's running around and he's just super crazy. So he comes up to us like super high energy. He's like, oh my God, man, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. So we're like, bro, what is going on? Calm down. And he's like, man, I was supposed to have a show host or an MC. He was supposed to show up and he's supposed to orchestrate the concert, thank sponsors and bring the different artists to the stage and just kind of time up with the DJ and just keep things rolling. He's like, man, it's like 30 minutes out. He's not here. He's not answering his phone. He's like, man, I don't know what to do. And I kid you not, it was like a movie scene, bro. So my friend, my cousin was on my right side. My boy Chuck was on my left, and Terrell was facing us from this direction. And both of my friends literally looked at me from this direction. And I'm like, what? Like, why are y'all looking at me? And literally Terrell goes, DeAndre, I need you to do this. I was like, bro, are you insane? I ain't never even been on stage, bro, let alone orchestrating a whole concert, bro. You're crazy.
You Slim Shady did?
Bro, straight just was like, you know what, bro? It's the only way I can show this dude I'm serious. So I was
Okay.
like, I was like, all right, I got it, bro. What do I need to do? He handed me a piece of paper, and I kid you not, you know what? I think I still have this sheet of paper to this day. This is how important this moment is to me. Let me find this. This is literally the sheet of paper he handed me that day with all the artists that I would essentially have to bring to the stage. And I've kept it all these years because, like I said, this moment is what made me who I am. Made me realize, like, you can do more than, like, you personally foresee for yourself. Because if you would have told me I would have been on stage orchestrating concerts at that point in time, I would have laughed at you. But, you know, sometimes, man, you just got to throw yourself out there and just do stuff, man. Sometimes you will surprise yourself. So I'm going to keep looking for this, but I'll keep talking. But he hands me this paper and he goes, man, so here's all the artists that are going to be on the show. You got to thank this sponsor, this sponsor, this sponsor, bring these people to the stage at this time, blah, 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 blah. And here I am. It's just going in one ear and out the other because I'm like, bro, you're crazy for even putting me up here. And I'll find this because, bro, it's just crazy. I still have it, but it was essentially like a piece of paper that had all the artists that were there and like his writing for like adjusting parts of the show, and like I just kept it because it just meant so much to me. And I just found it. So this is real life. This is from at least. Does it have a date on this? It doesn't, but like you can literally see he was writing. And let me turn this off because this might not. It might not let me do it. So he literally wrote on this paper, like correcting things and whatnot. And I'm gonna flip the camera around so you can actually see this. So you could literally see his writing. And these are some of the artists. Kenny Ali was on this show.
Oh,
DJ Get It was on this show. J How was on this show. Gotta Hustle, Sauce, Tragic, Handsome, Cadre, Mario, Lil CP, Drake, Daytra, all these people were on this show. And I had
okay.
no idea who any of these people were at the time. So now I've become the center of attention because not only do I got to host the concert, is I will be on stage longer than anybody at the show because I'm
Facts.
now the show host. So it's like I got a lot of responsibility on my plate. Not to mention, I ain't never done this before on top of all that. So it was nerve-wracking at first. So long story short, this is how it all went down. The first show, again, was just a showcase. I took the mic from him, and long story short, I handled it. I did a really good job. And I showed myself that I was capable of doing something that I never would have pictured. And instantly, it changed my whole perspective on everything. And then long story short with everything and how I started getting into that was apparently Terrell actually left that show and went to Cleveland. He wasn't even at it. I didn't
Okay.
know this the entire time I was hosting his concert. He wasn't even there. I didn't know. He went to Cleveland to pick up Mario for the show that was supposed to be happening in about 2 days after that.
Yeah.
So come to find out, after that event, I go looking for Terrell to try to figure out what's good, and he's not even there. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, I just orchestrated his whole concert. He wasn't even here. So I'm kind of mad. I'm like, I wish he could have saw this. Like this was lit. And come to find out, he calls me. He calls me at like 3 or 4 in the morning after that event. And I'm wiping my eyes, waking up, like, why is he calling me? And he goes, bro, thank you. Just thank you. That's all he kept saying. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you thanking me for? He was like, bro, Ashley, who was his fiance, now his wife at the time, I guess she called him and said, who is this kid? And where did you get him from? You need to bring him back. He told me this years later, and I found out, and I was like, wow. So I guess she called him and kind of co-signed for me and like told him, you need to bring him back. So he calls me that night and he goes, yo, do you want to host the Mario concert then? Out of here. And from there, bro, I've been hosted concerts with Rich Homie Cohen, Jacquees, Stally, Mario, B.O.B., K-Camp twice, Rick Ross, Lil Baby, and the list goes on and on and on and on. But,
Okay.
I tell this story to tell people like, bro, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair even having this interview if I didn't, in that moment, decide to do something outside the ordinary and do something that was a little bit risky and something I wasn't experienced in. And quite honestly, that's what catapulted me into wanting to become an artist because it was like, wow, I'm on stage jumping around and all this to everyone else's music. Why don't I just make my own? And that's when the light bulb went off. And that's when I started writing my own music and all that. And, life eventually got better. And then, he started offering me more opportunities. Instead of being the show host, he would let me open up for the concerts. So that's how I was able to build my
That's
resume
real
as an
love.
artist. Yeah,
That's love.
he believed in what I was doing. He trusted me on stage because he seen it with his own eyes. And, when he started getting bigger, he didn't switch up on me. He kept it 100. And, it was to the point of like he had a Reebok sponsorship at one point and he was giving me free shoes for opening up for the concerts. Like, bro, he was really, really looking out for me. Not to mention putting me on these huge concerts. So, I feel like this might sound bad, but I feel like forever I will be in debt to him because not only did he put me on all these shows, but he showed me something in myself that I didn't even see. And, I gotta say, bro, I wouldn't be the artist I am today had that moment not happened. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try this.
Yeah.
And it just led on to all these other things. So like that right there is probably the most crucial moment of my entire career. It was that moment I decided, you know what? Yeah, I will do it.
Hey, bro,
So
that's
I
dope as
just
hell, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Just to have like a friendship that brings value to you and like everything you
yeah,
want to do, that's very dope, bro. That's
yeah,
very
it
dope.
was I look back on it every day, bro, and I just thank God that I, decided to just take a leap, man. You just never know, bro. And I just thank God every day that I crossed paths with Terrell because, as time went on, he kept pushing me and pushing me more and more and more and putting me
Okay.
in situations that most people don't get to be in. And he put me in a lot of situations where he wouldn't even say anything. He would just put me in the situation just to see how I would react to it. So, he would put me in rooms with celebrities and not say nothing, like, and then he would walk out. Like, he did that several times where he would literally put me in a room with the artist I'm opening up for and just walk out. And he wouldn't say anything, but in the moment, I didn't realize what he was doing. But what he was doing was he was giving me an opportunity to be in a closed room with him and open my mouth. But
Yeah.
at the time, I didn't really think like that. I was just so in awe. I was even in the position, let alone trying to talk to them. So, I'm still like that to this day. Like when I meet these artists that are like obviously much bigger than me, I try not to act like a fan as much as I want to. I try not to, and I try not to tell them about my music or act like the normal, typical shit. I try to act like being in a room with them is normal. Like, you know, even though in my own mind, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm in a room with Ross and Baby right now. This shit is crazy. That's how I'm thinking, but I'm acting like it ain't shit. I'm acting like I'm bigger than them niggas. Like, and it just over time, man, Terrell taught me so much about just little stuff that he didn't even have to say.
Yeah,
He just would
I
put me
see
in.
as far as like mentality and things
And
like that. Yeah, okay. That's
he was teaching
valuable,
me a
bro.
lot of stuff that, like I said, at the time, I wasn't realizing it until years later. And that's why, not just that, but like, that's why Terrell is so valuable to me. Like, he's never given me anything, but he has at the same time. Like, and, that's why I'm spending so much time on this because, yeah, I got to say that pivotal moment I met Terrell and started doing that is what literally led to me being right here in this chair. Like, it's just, I can't make it up, bro. It's just, I would have never became a rapper. I would have never wanted to be on stage had I not been nudged to do so. And, he got behind me full fledged. And every show he did after that, I was either the host or I had an opportunity to open up. And I'm talking about he would call me literally 2 days before shows like, hey, bro, I'm in Bama. So-and-so's coming. Do you want to open up? And that's all he would say. Just yes or no, bro. Ain't no,
Yeah.
maybe, no, bro. He was just like, look, it's yes or no, bro. Bama in 48 hours. Can you be there? And every time he called me, I'm there, bro. There was no question. And I'm
Shout out
talking
to
about
that
the
boy Terrell for being a real
man,
friend, man. Shout
bro.
out to
He's a
that.
real
That's
one.
love.
Yeah, he's a real one. I don't care what anybody got to say about him. Everybody got a past and have done bad things and made mistakes. But like, I don't care what no one says. If I'm ever in a room with somebody speaking bad about Terrell, I'll be the first one to jump up. Like, yeah, you gonna chill with that. I will instantly shut it down because I'm like, I'm walking proof. This man has never taken anything from me. He's never even charged me to be on his shows, bro. That's just keeping it 1,000. And I'm only opening up about this because I'm speaking with someone from the city. If this was outside of this, I wouldn't even be speaking this specific. But this is because you know everybody always got something to say about him, but yet have never really like spent time with the dude. Like me and him, bro, he would call me just to go to the casino and just watch him play craps. And who would want to do that? You know what I mean? But in my mind, I looked at it like, bro, he just wanted somebody to ride with him. Like, it ain't about what you can get out of him. Just go hang with him. And that's what I did. I built a relationship with him. So now it's to the point where he invited me to his wedding. I go to his house when he does events. Like, for instance, he did a celebration for his wife's, for her graduating from medical school. And, he personally invited me over to his home to be there for that. And I'm the only rapper in the entire house. And there's
Okay.
all these people in Youngstown that know him and all this whatnot, but I'm the only one in his house personally. And there's a reason for that is because too many people were trying to benefit from him instead of just becoming a friend or just being there for him. Like, and I felt like that's what separated me from everybody in Youngstown was, everybody just wanted to get on his shows. They didn't want to get to know him. And, I went through the trenches of just getting to know Terrell. I didn't even know what he was into. So it kind of blinded me from that side of things so that I was not biased in my decision making when it came to, oh, this, that, and the third. He wants to go here, wants to go there. Well, is he putting me on the show? No? All right, then I'm not going. But that's how some people think. But it's bigger than that, man. It's like, it's so much bigger than that. And, I'm very grateful that my mind was able to be trained like that because now that's how I've built every connection, bro. It starts out as a friendship first. And that would be my best advice to anyone trying to make a connection with someone that has power or other connections that have power. Like, bro, stop trying to get something from them. Just become a friend. Because who are they gonna look out for the most? Their friends.
Yeah.
So that's always been my advice, and that's how I got here. Was I befriended Terrell first, and that's how we became where we are now. So it's just
Okay.
been a hell of a journey, bro. Like,
I
man,
like
like I
that.
got
I like that. Definitely, I like that. So as far as you say you did, you know, you opened a lot of shows for him, you hosted a lot of shows for him. What can you say was your favorite show that you didn't host it or open?
man, that's tough because I want to say 2 years ago I opened up for Rick Ross and Lil Baby, and I got to meet both of them together in front of like 8 to 10,000 people. Fucking absurd, bro. It's all on my Instagram. I got pictures and stuff from the show. Uh, that one is one of my favorites just for the simple fact of the nostalgic moment of me and Ross. Because I mean, I'm 29, so Ross was a part of my childhood when it came to the trap music and the, you know, when that was hot, when live mixtapes was like where you got your music. Like Ross was in the middle of all that. So the fact that I got to stand in a room with this man and meet him, and you know, not to mention I had just opened up the concert before I got to meet him. So like I don't know, man. That moment was just unreal to me because it was just like, here I am, starting out as just a producer, out of nowhere, caught this opportunity to become a show host, and then years later, here I am meeting one of my idols as an artist. Like, it's just mind blowing to me, and it's like, if I had to choose one as my favorite, though, just in general, I hosted a concert for an indie rock group called Matt and Kim.
Okay.
They're really big out of New York, but like obviously over here they're not like huge, but they're huge a lot of other places because they do a lot of like EDM mixed with trap music, mixed with reggae. Like they do
Oh, they,
multi-genre music.
yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to
Yeah,
say.
it
Multi-genre.
yes,
Okay.
they were like when I've seen them in concert, they were like the best way I can put it is they were like an artist version of like a Skrillex. Does that make sense? How
Ooh,
Skrillex mixes all this music, but he's more of
yeah,
just a DJ. They are like an artist version of that. Like they make their own music like that, where
it's
it'll
tough.
sound like Michael Jackson mixed with Waka Flocka Flame mixed with Justin Timberlake. And it's like that shouldn't even be possible. But here these two people are that are able to create this unbelievable, unique music. But I would look into them if you've never heard of them because I personally I didn't really care until I got to the show. I'm not gonna
Okay.
lie. When I got this opportunity, I went Matt and Kim. I don't even know who that is. Whatever. It's just another chance for me to get on stage. Until I seen them live. Oh my God. It was the craziest performance I ever seen. And the reason why it was my favorite, because again, it was another pivotal moment in my life where I tried something that it had a very low chance of being successful, but because in the moment I was confident and it just worked. So this ties more into like my brand and kind of like some of the things like symbol wise you'll see me using a lot. So for instance, like you'll notice like on my Instagram and stuff, like you'll see the lightning bolt emoji on like pretty much all my posts and all that. And the
Okay.
reason for that is the first reason is because I've always been told I've been high energy, like I like that. So that's part of it. But the other part is that show after I hosted the entire concert and all that. And right before I brought out Matt and Kim, which again is the A-list celebrity. So this is right before I'm about to bring out the opening or the, you know, the main headliner. So imagine I have everyone's attention at this moment. You can hear a pin drop, even though there's 8 to 10,000 people out there. And I went, look, y'all, I appreciate y'all rocking with me the whole show. I want to do something that I ain't never done before, but I want to try it because we got all these people here. I want to take a picture with y'all. So if everybody can just take out their phones just like this and turn on their flashlight. And you know, the moment I let flashlight out my mouth, I instantly went, ooh, this probably ain't gonna work, man. They ain't gonna listen to me. You know, I'm like, I'm gonna get embarrassed right now. And I think a good 15 to 20 seconds went by. You seen like one or two or three, and I was like, oh man, this is a fail. Out
Yeah.
of nowhere, bro, the entire crowd just lit up, bro. It was the craziest shit I have ever done in my career, just for the simple fact that I said, do this, and all these people just do it. And, you know, it was awesome because seeing Terrell's reaction when I did that, he instantly was reaching in his pockets, grabbing his two phones, fucking snapping pictures. And just to see that reaction from him, the excitement and just the oh my God from his face was awesome. And I got that picture. It's on my Instagram. It's one of my favorite pictures I ever taken because it was the first time I ever did that.
That's
And
dope.
the picture, like literally, you just see me on stage holding a microphone stand and just in a sea of just phone lights. It just was, man, I don't even know, bro. There's just no words just for the simple fact that, like, I went from literally nobody to this guy on stage within like 2 months. And then out of
Okay.
nowhere, my life just changed. And you know, like I said, it just went on and on and on. And just as Terrell got bigger and started doing bigger shows, my opportunities got bigger. And
Yeah.
you know, I just again, I'm just grateful I met him. I'm very honored to be his friend, and it's been a blessing, man. And who knows where it's gonna go next? That man is always working on something. So who knows where we're gonna take it next? But yeah, man, that's my boy, and I'm glad I spent a lot of time on this segment because it means a lot to me. And you know, I think it'll be dope to see a smile on his face when he watches this back because I felt like it's warranted to spend time on that section because people ask me all the time. They're like, "Bro, how did you do this? How did you get this? How did you open up for that?" And what I just told you was how. If I would have never in that moment just took a leap and said, "Yeah, bro, I'll host this concert. Why not?" I wouldn't have done any of that. So it's like my advice to anybody is like, bro, if you get an opportunity for something that might be outside the box or outside your comfort zone, or even something you don't do at all or zero experience at it, just do it because you never know. You
Shout
just,
out to that boy Terrell one more time, man.
you know what I
Definitely
mean?
shout out to him.
Shout out my boy TV. That's what I call him. His name Terrell Vidal. I call him TV, but yeah, that's my boy, man. Shout out to him. Shout out his whole family. Shout out his wife Ashley, because quite honestly, without her, you know, throwing that cosign to him, that wouldn't even been a thing. So
Yeah.
shout out to his whole family. Shout out Ashley. Shout out Terrell, man, for real.
You say going from a nobody to being influential, definitely that was really a big moment in your career. Can you tell me like who was influential to you as a music artist?
As a music artist. So one of my biggest influences are Wiz Khalifa. Big influence
Okay.
for me when it comes to just musically in general. He's my favorite artist. And one of the biggest things Wiz influences me is not even his music, man. It's the way he treats his fans. It's the way he is on camera. It's the way he is in real life. Because I've actually gotten a chance to see him interact with his fans. Dude is super humble, super down to earth, yet he's this star on the Forbes list every year, you know? And at the time when I was coming up, artists weren't like that. That's just not what they were doing back in like, 2000, 1999. Them cats wasn't
Yeah.
humble and like wanting to meet fans and stuff. Like they was just flexing and doing their thing. But Wiz, I felt like came with this whole new approach where he was using social media and he was doing vlogs on like YouTube and showing what his life was actually like. And no one was doing that at the time. So I was instantly amazed. I'm like, I've never seen someone as big as him show what their life is actually like behind the music where they're just chilling at home or going here, going there, brushing their teeth.
Yeah.
Like I ain't never seen that. So I instantly became a super fan because I was just like, you just can't get this anywhere else. And then, I started to dive more into his music because I mean he's right from Pittsburgh. So like it was not like he's from across the country. So, that made it even more stronger was the fact that this dude was from right across the border. I'm like that I rock with the way he moving. And, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I've always tried to emulate that into everything I'm doing. And, I've always told people like I don't care how many followers I get, bro. I don't care how big I get. I'm never gonna change. I want to make sure that when people see me get big, they're gonna be like, "Wow, he's still the same dude from high school. Like he ain't changed. Let the money change him." And it's like that sounds so cliche, but it's just like for real. Like if you ask anybody that knows me, the first thing they're gonna tell you is like that dude is down to earth, humble, true to himself, and I stand behind that because that's just who I am. I don't care to be something because that's what people think is cool, or I don't care to do stuff because that's what people think is cool. Like Like even with my music, like I don't talk about shooting motherfuckers. I don't talk about selling drugs. I don't talk about none of that. Why? Because I don't do it. So how am I just gonna be out here telling all these fantasies for nothing? And it's like, it's no disrespect to anybody out there that might take that to heart, but at the end of the day, if the shoe fit, wear it. And I'm not
Right.
afraid to say that. But my thing is like, I don't respect artists that talk about things that they are not actually living. So whoever that may be, it is what it is. But like that's why I prided
Definitely.
myself on complete transparency and just being real to who I am. And you know, like I said, it's been a longer path because like most people don't really care. But that's how I got where I am. A lot of people respect it, and you know, I don't. I'm never gonna change that. And that's where Wiz motivated me a lot. Was he inspired me to like not only to again show me it's possible because here's another dude from really close vicinity that is you know, a huge star. So he motivated me in the simple fact of just it's possible. And then secondly was just not only can you get there, you don't have to change. And that was one of the biggest things he taught me. So that's one of my biggest inspirations with music. I ain't gonna lie, man. I model a lot of the stuff I do when it comes to interacting with people off of how Wiz is, man. I'm very outgoing. I'm very outspoken, super humble. I'll talk to anyone. I'll hug anyone. Like that's just I feel like these are things you can't teach, you can't buy. It's you either are like that or you're not. And I've tried to emulate that in everything that I do.
Do you
And I
feel
feel like
like people can change into that?
change into it,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Like, no, not at all.
Truthfully, nah. I feel like it's one of them things. Like it's about your heart. Your heart is either like that or it's not, man. I don't think that's something that you can pick up along the way. You know, because I even look back when I was younger, like you can ask anyone you want from Youngstown, from Austin Town Fitch. I was friends with anyone. I don't care if you were dirt poor, rich. I don't care if you were the goth. I don't care if you were the weirdos in class. It didn't matter. Like, bro, you're a human to me. I want to hear what you got to say because you might be a really cool person. And I've always been that way. So like, I don't feel like that's something you can just flick on and off and feel like, you know, it's something that's in your soul. Like I don't
Okay.
have a choice but to be humble because it almost hurts me when I'm not. I
I
feel
like that.
bad.
I
Yeah, I
definitely
feel
like that.
bad when I'm cocky or like, you know, whatever you want to call it. I like it don't even feel morally, it don't even sit right with me. So and looking at that, I'm like, how can you switch that on and off? That's not a switch, you know? And that's just me. Like it's just in my soul to be humble. It's in my soul to be down to earth and care about others' feelings and emotions and just be respectful to people. It's just the way I was raised and just it's just in me.
I
Um,
like that. Definitely, definitely,
so
bro. I definitely like that. That's real. That's like real. That's some real talk we got going on right now. So going back to the music, um, what can you say has been like the hardest challenge for you as becoming an artist or a producer?
finding myself. Um, because as a producer, I kind of found myself early on, just with the fact
Mm-hmm.
that I realized I had a gift. So when you have a gift in something, you find yourself very quickly. You almost don't even like have to even find yourself. Like it's always been there. You just have to realize it has been. But musically, as an artist, man, the toughest thing has been finding myself as an artist, figuring out who I actually am and what I actually want to sound like and portray, and the biggest one is finding my sound because originally I was just a rapper. I was straight up rapper, super lyrical, into that realm, super conscious. As time went on, just with several influences and things that have nudged me certain ways and the type of music that I listen to, I started dibbling and dabbling with singing. And, you know, I went through a couple things where I would ask people what they thought about something. You know, they were like, you need to stick to rapping. Like, you shouldn't sing. So I kind of got real self-conscious about it. So I wouldn't really mess with singing too much. Cause I'm like, some of the closest people to me telling me I shouldn't do it. So maybe I don't sound good. So it took a long time for me to build up my own confidence and say, fuck what you talking about. I know I sound good. I don't care what you're saying. But that took a long time to get there. So I would say finding my sound as an artist and figuring out what my limitations artistically were, I think was my biggest challenge. And I'm still learning that every day. But just to get to the point where I am now, where I'm very confident in my artistic ability and vocal range, things like that, it took a long time to develop that, and the confidence was, I think, the hardest thing.
Okay. So as far as going into the limitations that you feel like you are bound to as an artist, how are you trying to break those down? Like, do you want to be
Um,
limitless or do you like to stay in that niche?
See, and that's where it's so tough, is because I'm just so like, just ever since the first opportunity we talked about, I'm just so open to anything now that I'm like, it's not impossible for me to sound like that. It's not impossible for me to sing like that. It's not impossible for me to rap like that. So I'm just so like all over the place right now, just trying to discover myself and figure out exactly what I want to do. Um, Man, it's tough because it's like I never thought I could sing, but now I can. So it's like, what actually is my limitation? And the only way to know is to push the envelope, bro. Like you gotta push the
Mm,
envelope. And
mm,
you'll hit walls sometimes, or it's embarrassing, or you don't sound good, but at least you know you can't do it. Because
I like that,
otherwise,
bro.
you
I
never
definitely
gonna
like that.
not know. So that's kind of how I feel about that. Like limitations only exist when you push the envelope. The
Okay.
only way you'll know.
So how do you want your music to affect the world?
My music to affect the world is, I want to inspire other people just like me who kind of either been told or feel like something's not possible. Um, because you know, I dive into a lot of, I speak about what's actually going on in my life. I'm very transparent. And I think the reason being is I think that shows other people that, and again, I don't consider myself famous or like any of that, but there are people that follow my social medias that look at me like as in like a, I don't want to say celebrity, but like, I mean, I have
You're
a
an
pretty big
influencer.
audience.
You're an
Exactly,
influencer. That's what it
exactly.
is.
That's the best word for it, because I hate saying famous or celebrity, because it's like that's a different realm in my
Yeah.
opinion. But as an influencer, a lot of these younger kids look up to me. They like my content, and I think the reason why I'm so transparent and so humble and down to earth is because it shows the younger generation, bro, you don't have to act a certain way to have followers or money or any of this, bro. You could literally just be normal, bro, and be a billionaire if you want to. You don't have to be out here driving a Bentley every day. You don't have to do that, bro. And quite honestly, 90% of the billionaires don't even have a Bentley, bro. Because they understand it's not even for them, it's for everyone else to look and go, ooh. So I feel like that's my biggest drive as an influencer. And just when it comes to all of that, is like, I'm trying to show this younger generation, you do not need to change in order to be successful. You don't need to be this. You don't need to be a gangster. You don't need to shoot people. You don't need to be a hoe. You don't need to do any of that. People are choosing to do that because it gains attention.
Mm,
But someone like me, I'm willing to take the longer route and build an organic audience rather than do all the trendy stuff and whatever. Like, don't get me wrong. I do a lot of stuff when it comes to like TikTok and stuff where, with all the funny comedic skits that I do, like I do tend to take trends that are popping and kind of use them to my own advantage. But I'm not changing who I am to do so. You know what I mean? And to me, like, I think right now, and this is getting off into another subject, but I think social media is the most dangerous thing on the planet right now.
okay,
I
wow.
think it's I think it's more dangerous than guns. I think it's more dangerous than a nuclear weapon. And people think I'm crazy, but here's why. When you can post something that instantly changes someone's mindset, that is dangerous to me, bro. That's
Cyber
dangerous.
warfare.
You know what I mean? And here's why. For instance, let's say I got on this interview, and instead of being like this in my bedroom with a Youngstown State hoodie on, I was dripped in like 16 chains and there was Lamborghinis in the background. That's going to change your whole perspective on me. You might even change the interview. You might even feel like, damn, I need to move to a different room. People going to see this. But it's sad that you think that way. Why does that matter? You see what I'm saying? You might have even thought, damn, bro, this dude got Lambos and shit. Here I am in my room with a microphone. I need to get some better shit. But that's some bullshit, bro. It shouldn't matter. it doesn't matter. Like,
But
and that's why I think social media is so dangerous to me. Like,
but with that, don't you think that comes with the choice as far as being like you're pushed this way, or agreeing with it, or choosing the path like, okay, I see that this is where he is, like this could be motivation or this could be discouragement. Don't you feel like
exactly,
that's a big choice though?
bro. That's facts. It does come down to the person receiving it. Um, Man, you made a great point. I don't even know how to piggyback off that. You're right. It's like, they hit a fork in the road where it's either like, damn, I want to get like that, man. I'm gonna work harder, or it's like, damn, I ain't got that shit. I ain't doing shit with my life. Like, but that fork in the road existing is what is so dangerous about social media. It's like it shouldn't even create that in your mind. Why
See,
does that
but
even become a decision? But
mhm,
that's the dangerous game we play with social media, man. And we're given the power of people to only show what they want to show.
definitely,
And again, that's another dangerous thing because it's like you got
definitely,
kids out here looking up to something that is artificially manipulated. So they're trying to compare themselves to something that isn't even real. And it's just,
definitely,
man,
bro.
so that's why I take pride in social media. As of right now, I've busted my ass, man. I've just recently hit 170,000 followers on TikTok. I'm at about 9,200 on Instagram, and I have another app that people aren't very familiar with yet, but it's very similar to TikTok. It's called
Mhm.
Clapper. I just recently got verified on there, and I actually have 13.8K on there. So I
Clapper.
have a combined total of almost 200K followers, and I am very prideful in saying that I am truly 100% myself. Like, I don't have to act when I go on to post a video or go live because the stuff I'm posting and presenting to them is so transparent that I don't have to act. Like, if I was in my room going live on TikTok, it doesn't look abnormal because I do that every day. I don't go live in front of stuff that looks cool just to look like I'm doing a certain thing. It doesn't matter. They've watched me go through a divorce that I've even talked about on my live and spoke to them about it, and all of these things play a part of just showing them, bro, I'm a human being. Like, I'm a normal person. I just have a big audience. It doesn't make me any better or worse than you. I still go through bullshit. I still cry sometimes. I still get mad. Like, and I think that's kind of like my little way of giving back to the world and trying to change it, because I just feel like all we need in this world is somebody that is as big as a Drake or Beyonce or whatever that acts normal. When people see that, they're gonna go, well, damn, he's doing it. And it's sad that it has to have somebody else do it for everyone else to realize, bro, you don't have to do all that to be a good person or be successful. And that's where I feel like I'm just like, as a overall, just my whole life goal, I feel like that's my little piece that I'm trying to give back to the world. And I'm not saying it's going to change the world, but I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 people within my lifetime will change their entire mindset based on the fact that they saw me become successful and I didn't act different.
Exactly.
That's kind of like my little,
So,
everybody
so
always like,
in
what's your
short,
purpose?
in short, I hate to cut you off, but it's
No,
just
you good, bro.
basically um, be human. That's all you are. So why fake it? That's
Exactly.
I like it. I like it. So going back into the music though, what can you say is unique about your music? What's different that other artists aren't touching on, or just is different in your style?
I would say with my style, just being a true artist. I produce my music from the ground up. I write my own music, and half the time I even sit in and engineer and help engineer my own music. So I'm a part of my music from start to finish.
That's a
That's what
double-edged sword, bro.
exactly.
That's crazy.
And
That's
that's where
crazy.
Beatspere gets that name. And I feel like that is my biggest piece that makes me unique is I literally create my music from mute all the way up into what you're hearing. It's not me finding a beat on YouTube and then shooting a music video. No, bro. I do this all myself. I sit down, make the beat, write the song. It might even take me 2 to 3 months before I'm even like, all right, this is fire. And then when I get in the studio, I done been practicing the song so much that it's all energy when I get in there. I don't even look at my phone. It's memorized. And it's just what you're getting is just a vibe. You're not getting a written song at that point. Even though it's written, it's just like,
I love that. That's
so
hard.
I feel like that's what makes me unique is I actually do spend the time. Most artists, they'll just buy a beat, make a song, call it a day. Me, nah, bro. I literally each individual little instrument and hi-hat you're hearing, I put those in there myself. And I think that is what makes me unique. There's not a lot of people like me. And I think that's where I have an advantage over a lot of artists. I'm not saying I'm a better rapper, better singer, or anything. But when it comes down to being a complete package, that's where I feel like a lot of people can't rank with me because most of these artists don't produce their own music, don't even know how to. And I feel like as an artist, it's sad that you don't even look into that because I'll be honest with you, the only reason I feel like I'm as good as an artist I am now is because of what producing has taught me. It taught me all of the basics of music, chords, note progression, energy, everything. So when you go to write a song, you're writing a song based on what? The beat. So if you learn how to make beats, then you understand even fully more how to write a song to it. So I think just naturally, that was one thing I'm grateful for. Just God blessed me with this gift of producing. So, when I want to go into other things with music, I already understand the basics of it. So it's like, I can learn anything else with music. I look at it like, this is a terrible example to use, but it's just the truth. Is like, look at marijuana, for instance. Like, you only get the plant because someone planted it. It's a seed. I feel like I'm a seed of music. You can't get music without someone like me to produce it. I mean, you can.
Okay. I get what
You
you're
know what I
saying.
mean?
Yeah.
You can, but like, no one wants to hear that. Ain't nobody doing acapellas no more. So
Yeah.
with that being said, you have to have a producer or be one. There's no other option. And I feel like the fact that I am one gives me one hell of an edge on a lot of people because, that first of all, it's two different avenues to promote yourself for one. Two, the knowledge that you learn with producing that carries over into writing music and singing and all these other different things that you have to be pretty decent at with, making songs. It just gives you all this knowledge, man. And it's like, without producing, I wouldn't be the artist I am. I would be probably trash for real, to be honest with you. But,
Okay.
producing taught me a lot about notes and what notes sound good with each other and which ones don't, and why this beat is better when it's a faster tempo and why it's not. Like all these little things, and it all comes into play when you make a song. So understanding the very first step and basics of music will help you everywhere else. And I feel like a lot of artists, because of technology, skip that step. And I think they're losing out, in my opinion, because I grew up in a day and age, I'm 29. So I grew up in a day and age where we didn't have all this technology. It was just on its way. So I got I got placed in the perfect era because I was right at the tail end of all the not having technology to when all this stuff started taking place. So kind of like me as a person, I was on both sides of the tracks. I learned how to use what you had, but then it became, okay, now it's a push of a button.
Yeah.
I was right in that little transition. So, I have a very deep appreciation for people that take the time to actually learn this stuff because, you can't just get out here and start rapping. I mean, I guess you can, but you're going to only get so far. You're going to plateau at some point because you just haven't learned certain things. And I feel like the only reason I've kept getting better and better and better and better and better and better at music is because I'm starting to unlock things that I knew that I didn't realize I knew because of producing. So singing, for instance, a perfect example. I never knew I could sing until I realized half the time when I'm making my beats, I'm humming the notes I'm hitting and realizing that I'm actually hitting the notes. And I'm like, hold on, bro. I kind of took a step back, like, wait a minute. That sounded fire. Maybe I got a little something in there,
Hey, so can you sing high? Like, are you a soprano? Like, you be blowing?
I can get up there. I'm still experimenting with it. I'm not on no like falsetto yet, but like
Okay.
I can get up there, and I'm surprisingly starting to learn that my range is a little further than I thought. So it kind of comes to me in the moment when I'm like doing like recording songs in the studio. Like I don't know if you know anything about like layering vocals over top of each other and harmonizing and all that, but I started getting more into harmonizing and learning like how to use my voice in different tones to create one type of thing. So, you know, there's certain like like sounds in like when you're singing, like where you get that real high pitched soundy like angelic sound.
Mm-hmm.
And Wiz Khalifa does it a lot. And I always wanted to figure out how he did it. I never understood, how does he sound so just angelic and just like, it's ridiculous because he doesn't have a high pitched voice. So I never understood how. So I learned the concept of layering a vocal like this, like I'm talking, layering a voice like this, like I'm talking, and layering a vocal like this, like I'm talking, to create one vocal that sounds like it's doing that. And when I learned that, that's when I started learning my vocal range and learning, okay, so don't get me wrong, there are times I'm in the studio like, oh hell no, I can't do that. but there are times where I try things and I'm like, oh, like, I didn't know I could get up there. Like, all right. So, you know, it's just, man, singing's tough because you got to learn your voice first to realize your range and realize what your limitations are. Because learning your limitations, I think, in my opinion, not that I'm some singing professional or like expert, because I'm not. But I would say the most important thing about singing is learning what your limitations are. Because when you learn where you can't go, that's where you learn where you can, and where you can go is your sound. And when you
Yeah.
learn that, you lock into that bag. Because you notice when you listen to Lil Baby, the Baby, and all these other people, you notice all their music kind of stays in the same realm. They don't really veer too far because they know that they in their bag. That's their vocal range. That's the type of music people like from them. So they stay with it. And when you learn that, no one can stop you. And I feel like I'm getting really, really close to that point. It's really close because, like I said, had I not just, it's close, bro.
Okay.
I just actually recorded a song in the studio like about maybe a couple days ago, and I blew myself away. I was just mind blown that I could sound like that because it's on kind of like a Kid Cudi mixed with Wiz, mixed with like a Post Malone, mixed with like
So
a little
real
tech vibe.
high. Yeah, real high.
Yeah, it's
Just
just,
yeah.
man, it's just hard
Gotta
to explain.
breathe and
Mm-hmm.
push it out. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but it's like, man, it was a pivotal moment for me because I'm like, wow, I wanted to sound like this all this time, and I never realized it was actually in me. And that studio session was like the official like stamp it, like I can sing. I don't care what no one says. And like it just was like that moment. And like I've always felt that way, but when you get in the studio and actually do it, bro, it just hit different. So, you know, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I've listened to this song probably 1,000 times within the last 4 days because I'm just like, wow, bro. I just, people are not gonna expect this from me because all they've ever gotten is rap. So
Yeah.
when I come with this side of my music, I feel like people aren't gonna know what to do. They're just gonna be like, bro, what? What can't this man do? He produces, he writes his own music, he raps, he sings, he DJs, show hosts. Like, what doesn't he do, bro?
Mama, I'm a
And
singer. Mama, I'm a
facts,
singer.
facts. And like I'm right now, man, I'm just having fun with everything. I'm learning my limitations is where I'm at with it. I'm just trying stuff to see what it sounds like, to see if I can even do it. And I'm liking where my headspace is. I'm liking the experimentation. It's been fun because just I've been showing myself stuff that I just didn't think was possible, and now I'm just doing it, and it's like, wow, like
That's dope.
that's my biggest
That's
advice
dope.
to anyone, man. Just don't be afraid to try shit, man. I'm telling you, you just never know.
Okay, so producing, rapping, singing, with all that going on, say you got, you still got a life, one.
Exactly.
So being busy throughout the week, say you only got like 2 hours just to write a song. What are you doing in those 2 hours?
Um, it just depends on what I'm into for real. Like I don't know. With my music, man, I don't really have a schedule or like plan anything, man. I'm all in the moment. If I'm feeling good that day, if I'm feeling, you know, just better than most days, or like the music is just touching me different, I try to shut off everything around me. I don't care what's going on. If I'm just vibing right that day, I try to hone in on that and I try to exploit that feeling. Because the one thing with music, man, is like there's some days you might like something better than others, and you might hear it differently than days and than other days. And I try to hone in on just the vibe, and I feel like that's when I write my best songs, is when I just let it naturally happen. Like some people like to spend like an hour a day freestyling or an hour a day writing music, or they have kind of like a routine. I don't have one, like,
Okay.
and it's kind of nerve-wracking at times though, because like at times where like I'm in a moment where I'm like, damn, I want to make some new music or whatever. Some days I'm just not feeling it. And it's like, it kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It kind of holds me back in a way, because it's like I should be able to just create all the time. But at the same time, creating all the time isn't always best. But creating good shit periodically, I feel like it's more beneficial. If you're creating fire shit periodically, bro, eventually it's going to become all the time, because you're practicing that it's just like anything, like
Definitely.
sports.
Quality over quality. I mean, quantity over
Exactly.
quantity. Definitely.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I come up with stuff. So I don't know, man. I don't really have no like now that I'm thinking about it, I don't really have no like thing. I just kind of
just get in there and do it.
I swear,
Just get in
man.
there
That's
and do it.
literally
Okay.
it. That's literally it.
That's cool. That's cool though. So as far as like just life in general, what can you say is like your most important thing that you learned in your life?
Most important thing, I would say balance. Um, Good friend of mine told me that this lifestyle that I'm chasing is never worth it if that's all I have, you know.
Mm,
And I used to think he was crazy, because I'm like, bro, if you think I'm about to take some time off to go to do whatever just because I want to have balance in life, bro, I could have been spending that 4 hours grinding, and that's how I used to always think. But as time got on, as time went on and I started to like get older and started to realize what he was really saying, bro, he's speaking facts. You can't just be a musician all the time, bro. You'll get burnt out. You gotta live your life. You gotta do normal stuff. You gotta spend time with your family. Go take a trip, ride a bicycle. Like all this stuff sounds goofy, but it's so important, man. Because when for instance, like my music isn't even a job to me right now. So I'm not getting paid legitimately to do music. So like, it's not a job yet. But when it becomes a job, that's what it's gonna become. And you're going to very much miss that feeling of that balance of being able to just go ride a skateboard, because you can't now. You're famous. You can't just go ride a skateboard, bro. It doesn't work like that. So it's like you're going to cherish those moments, and like I think that's the most important thing when it comes to this music shit is like, bro, appreciate life and love what you do, because at the end of the day, life, as you become more successful in anything, your life starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller, because as your name gets bigger and bigger and bigger, all those normal things that you can normally do without being bothered or whatever, you can no longer do that anymore. And you just got to take appreciation for just being able to just sit in your bed and relax, play Xbox, or go hang out with some friends. Like every day can't be a studio session or a music video. Like it can't be like that. So that is, in my opinion, the most important thing.
Okay, that coming to my head. I just see you getting tackled off a skateboard, like Beatspere,
Yeah.
like
I don't know. It just kind of popped in my head, but yeah, like I try to just get out there and just do all types of stuff. Like for instance, this is gonna sound so goofy, but just recently I kind of hit another like epiphany where like what we just talking about, like man, just going out and doing something like that was just fun that had nothing to do with music. It just felt so good. And I went out, like a good friend of mine out here in Columbus kept telling me like, bro, you need to go rent one of them little electric scooters they got downtown that you can take for transportation. He's like, bro, they're so fun. He's like, you just need to do it. And I thought, whatever, bro. Like I got a show tomorrow. I got a studio session this day. Like I ain't got time for that. Man, about 3 days ago, I was sitting here. I had a day off from work and it hit me. I don't know what to do with myself, because I don't got a studio session. I don't got no new music to write. I don't got nothing to do with music. And I'm sitting here and I don't know what to do with myself.
Just
And I'm like,
lost in the sauce.
that's sad that I felt that way. And I said, you know what? I'm about to go rent one of these motherfucking scooters and I'm about to just go ride this hoe and just ride around campus and just have
Okay.
fun. Just literally just go by myself with no one. And literally I did. Bro, that was the funnest time I had in like the past like year, bro. And all I did was go ride a scooter in downtown Columbus. Like, and but that moment of just that smile on my face without it having to be serious all the time, it felt so good. And like, you know, they talk about mental health with music and stuff, man, and this is that most important part. In my opinion, is like your mental health is important, and when you're just constantly just go 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 serious 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 all the time, man, it takes a toll on you, bro. You start to forget some of the most valuable things in life. Is like having fun, smiling, enjoying time with your family. You start to forget about these things, and I'm a victim of it. Like, I even look at just some of the stuff I went through recently. I I I feel like honestly, I don't spend enough time with my family, and that's my own fault. But once you get to that realization, like it's a beautiful thing because you start to have that balance, and you start to appreciate your music even more when you get away from it a little bit. Like it's just like in my opinion, I think that is the most important thing as a musician is your mental
Hmm.
health and that balance between like this reality that is actually here and this reality that we're trying to create is
Okay.
being able to be in the middle of the two instead of always on one side or the other.
Being in the present.
Because,
That's all it is about. Just be in
yep,
the present and love the present. That's all it is
yep.
really about. So going into that, you said you don't see your family a lot. That's how you feel. Um, Tell me, like, who growing up, who was one of your biggest mentors, and like what was important that they taught you?
My mom, um, because kind of cliche story, I never really had my dad. So my mom was forced to be my mom and dad. So, me and my mom, super close. Couldn't get any closer. When it came to just anything, man, like she's the reason I got recruited to even play at Ohio Dominican University. She was the one at my recruiting visit talking to the coaches, not my football coach. So me and my mom have a bond that people don't understand. And one of the most important things she taught me was go get it. And that sounds crazy, but my mom is the reason why I started chasing music is because one day when I dropped out of college, I told my mom to her face, I'm like, I'm not moving anywhere. I'm staying home so I can make sure y'all cool, like whatever, whatever, whatever. My mom literally with this face looked at me and go, boy, if you don't quit worrying about us and go out into the world, like, and out here I am like, damn, mom, are you trying to just put me out? Like that's how I was thinking about it. But nah, what she was telling me was, don't wait for us. Go chase that shit. And that's what she said to me. And she kind of gave me that green light to just go out into the world and not necessarily see them all the time or speak to them all the time. And I feel like I got lost in that sauce because there were times I went months without speaking to my family or hearing from my mom. And it's like, I regret that. And I still do it to this day. But it's like I at least recognize it now, and acknowledge that I'm not doing it. And that is one of my biggest regrets is some of the time lost with my family and my nieces and nephew, like not being able to see them grow up necessarily is because I was out in the world. I was out traveling and touring and stuff. And it's like, you know, I regret that. But it's like at the same time, my family understand what I'm chasing and they get it. So like they don't be tripping too much, but I ain't gonna lie, it bothers me a lot. I just don't really talk about it. Like I'm a very open person, but I am reserved too at the same time. Like when it comes to that, like I don't really say it to my family enough, and I probably should, but I regret all the time that I didn't spend with them and not talking to them. I regret all of that because now it's kind of like the balance we was talking about. That's a part of that is like just having that balance, man, between going to the studio and then going, you know what, I'm gonna go visit Youngstown for a couple of days and go see my family versus doing all this other stuff. And I'm getting back into that. I kind of got lost for a while. I was in a relationship. I got married for a little while. It didn't work out. Like we got divorced and all that. But I was stuck in this mindset of like I was so focused on my marriage and my wife, her family, I started to lose sight of my own, man. And I regret that. And that's I think one of the most important things too is part of that mental health is like just having a good core group of people, whether it's family or friends, that are realistic with you, for one, and then two, tell you when you do a good job, you know, like tell you they're proud of you. Like that stuff's important, man. And I feel like that's why I regret not putting that effort and time into my family still as much as I was into my music, because I felt like I missed out on a lot. And I feel like they missed out on a lot of what I was accomplishing. So it's like I got to go back and like explain to them, hey, this is what I did. This is what came from it, when they could have already just been in the loop, been in the sauce. But I was so disconnected and just so focused on what I was doing, man. I wasn't realizing that it was actually driving a wedge between me and my immediate family. So I'm spending a lot of time now just trying to find that balance between the two, because it's tough, man. When you get in that grind mode, bro, you don't be thinking about none of that. And, you know, it's tough, because you're like, how do I justify not going to grind to do this? Like, how do I justify that? When you really want something that bad, bro, you almost got to justify to yourself, like, is it really worth going to Youngstown to see my family when I could be grinding? Like, and that sounds crazy and that sounds wrong, but when you really want it as bad as somebody like me, bro, that is a conscious, everyday decision you have to make. I think about quitting my job every day, because I'm like, man, this 6 hours I'm here, I could be on the road doing this, doing that. But it's like, man, I ain't gonna lie, this job keeps me grounded, bro. It keeps me
Okay.
realistic. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, my music doesn't pay my bills. So, you know, my job does. So it's like, it keeps me grounded, man. It keeps me appreciative of the little things. And all of that stuff is so important. And again, this came with time, man. As I got older, I didn't used to think like this. I
Yeah.
didn't used to even give a shit. But it's just, as you get older, man, you start to
You're gonna have to give a
appreciate
shit.
stuff,
Yeah,
man.
you're just gonna have to give a
Yeah,
shit, man.
like for
Fuck.
real. And so that's just how it would be, though.
I guess I'm looking forward to that. Having to give a shit. But
Yeah.
going back to you say keeping a job, it makes you feel like realistic. It keeps you being realistic. So, what's one of the best jobs that you ever had?
One of the best jobs I ever had,
Yeah.
I would say, was I worked at Enterprise Rent a Car for 4 years, and
Okay.
it wasn't a good paying job or anything. Like, I wasn't making a bunch of money, but the freedom it gave me between being able to make money and work a job, but also still do my music career. So when I joined Enterprise, I was just washing cars and like picking up customers. I wasn't really doing anything crazy. Like, I was just a dude in the back vacuuming that mug out. You know what I mean? You would look at me and think nothing of me, like just,
Right.
oh, dude's cleaning the car. But what I would do is I would take my paychecks that I was making from Enterprise, and I would rent cars for dirt cheap. And that's how I went on tour. I took myself on tour with all the money they were giving me to work and the perks of my job and being able to rent cars for dirt cheap. I did all of that. And it was just crazy how I finessed it. That was my favorite job I ever had, because it showed me it doesn't matter how much you get paid as long as you're happy doing what you're doing. Like, you know, and I was only making like $9 an hour, washing cars for like 7, 8 hours a day, or looking at like maybe 400 to 500 every 2 weeks. Like, I wasn't making no real money, but I
Right.
was so happy because I had this freedom to just be like, you know what? I want that Benz this weekend, and I'm going to Alabama just because I can, because I don't have to work this weekend because I'm only part time. Like, that freedom was amazing. And I always told myself, I don't care what job I work, if it takes that freedom away, I don't want it. I don't care how much it pays. It doesn't matter. I could have had all types of crazy paying jobs just with my
Yeah.
resume when it comes to employment. Like, I've worked at AT&T for 2 years. I worked for a company that makes radar detectors and customer service. I worked in HR for Mercy Health, and now I work part-time at T-Mobile. And the reason being is because these are the only jobs I found that gives me that freedom to, okay, I'm an employee and I still got a consistent income, but I don't work 50, 60 hours a week, and I can still go do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I choose these jobs on purpose part-time, because it's like, I want my music that bad that I'm willing to risk not taking that big job for this. Because, you know, if music don't work out, I'm gonna have to go get that big job anyway. You know what I mean? But I'm willing to take that risk. It is what it is. I'll be 75, still working part-time at T-Mobile on the road. I don't care, because I believe in what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And
That's a
it's like this.
drive, bro. That's
Yeah,
drive. I like that, bro.
Yeah, I
Like
like
that.
for me, I'm willing to take that risk. Like, and like I said, man, I'm an open book. Like even right now, I live on Ohio State campus with a roommate. And why? Because it's like it's cheaper. I live in the middle of Ohio State campus where all the students are and all the stuff is, and I get to just do what I want. So it's like, why go spend $1,200-$1,300 a month to live like a bachelor in a penthouse downtown when I'm not even gonna spend my time there because I'm gonna be at work to pay for it. Like it's just like to me, I don't know. This the whole just the stencil that the world puts on you as to what you should be doing in life. I'm over it. And it's like because most people that are in my position wouldn't have even told you what I just told you. Because it seems too personal and people might judge me,
Yeah.
but I don't give a shit. All right. I pay $800 a month and that's it. And I used to pay like $1,600 a month. So it's like, why do all that when you're literally going to spend all your time working just to pay for that apartment and that you're barely even going to be in because you at work? So no,
Exactly,
I'm going to
bro.
work part-time. I'm going to live with a roommate who is my homie, and I'm going to spend my free time doing whatever the hell I want. If I want to go to the studio, cool. If I want to sit in my room and watch TV all day, cool. Like I'm happy, and like I think happiness is the most important thing. Because I spent a long time being unhappy,
Mhm.
so I forgot what it was even like to be happy. So I'm in a realm of life right now where I got out of a toxic relationship. So I haven't been this free in so long, like, so I don't even remember what it felt like to just, you know what, it's midnight, I want to go right down the street and get a pizza. Like I forgot what it felt like to just do that without having to explain myself to someone or get into an argument because I'm going somewhere. Like I forgot what that shit felt like. So I'm in this space right now that like I'm just doing whatever the fuck I want to do whenever I want to do it, and it just feels so good. And it's like, I hope everyone inspires to have that feeling, because if you don't, man, what are you doing that for? You're literally stressing yourself. I've had better paying jobs and I was miserable the entire time. And it's like,
Uh,
that's not worth the money to me. It's just not.
you seem like a smart guy, man. So, do you read a lot?
I don't, believe it or not. I just, man, my mind, I pick up on a lot of things that I don't realize until later. Like I'm like one of them people. But like I'm like one of them people, man. Like I'll see things or like skim over something, and like my mind seems to like pick stuff from it even when I don't realize it. So like I've gotten in conversations with stuff and I'm like, damn, how do I even know that? Like I don't even remember reading that. But I'm into a lot, man. Like social media is like my thing. Like that's one of my biggest things that I'm on all the time. So even with just that, like you see a lot of things on there. You can stay up with a lot of stuff on there. I'm into technology. Like I'm a huge nerd for real, to keep it 1,000 with you. Like a lot of people don't get that vibe from me, but I'm a huge fucking nerd, bro. Like you don't get to work at cell phone companies if you're not a nerd, bro. You got to know what you're doing. And I love video games. Like I'm into a lot of shit. I think that's why I'm just so well rounded when it comes to a lot of stuff. It's just I'm just into a lot of shit. I used to skateboard, I played football, I rap, I do all types of shit, man. Like, and I'm just into everything. And I
Balance.
feel like, yeah,
Balance.
I try to tell everybody that, man. Just try anything, man. Like I just recently kind of found a little talent with photography, like, and I would have never thought anything of it, but because of my kind of like background with being a nerd, I was able to figure out how to actually operate a digital camera, because it's a lot of people don't understand it's very technical. There's a lot of different settings you got to change to get that picture, and it's like I don't know what intrigued me to figure it out, but one day I was, man, I want to shoot pictures. Like I want to figure out how these motherfuckers are doing this shit. So this is a true story. I was cleaning a car at Enterprise one day, and somebody left a brand new. It was a Lumix FZ300, and this is a really decent digital camera that cost like anywhere between $500 to $600 at the time. Someone just left it in a car. So I told my manager, like, hey man, like someone left this damn camera, like I don't know what to do with it. And he was just like, look, just put it in a lost and found. They got 30 days to come get it, and if they don't, you can have it. And long story short, they never came back for it. So he gave me this camera, and here was my opportunity to fuck around with it. And it took me about maybe like 3 to 4 months. And I got to the point where I figured out how all this stuff worked and why it did this and why it did that. And I just found this immediate just draw to shooting photos. I don't even know why. Like, and something in me was just like, bro, just exploit it. See why you're so interested in this. And I started getting really, really good at it, to the point where like I've gotten booked to do weddings and I'm not even a photographer. Like I got booked for shows. I have people come up to me if I'm walking around on campus with a camera that try to book me like on the spot, like trying to get me to take pictures for them and shit. And it's like, it taught me like, bro, you could literally do anything if you just take the time and just sit down with it and you actually have a passion for it, you can figure it out. The passion is the biggest key. If you don't have a passion for it, you're not going to be willing to learn. You know what I mean? And I just apparently have a passion for a lot of shit. I don't know.
So, in closing, what's one of the questions that you wish that I would have asked you that I haven't asked you yet?
You did a great job, bro. You dove into just really personal stuff. I got nothing bad to say, man. Like, you did a great job. You're good at listening. You're good at bouncing the question off of what we were talking about and even segueing into new shit, man. This was dope, bro. I'm really glad we did this for real. Like, me personally, I want to ask you some damn questions, bro. What part of town are you from? Like, you said.
Yeah, south side of Youngstown.
You said you went to Cheney and Mooney, right?
Yeah.
All right. What's your first and last name?
Amon Williams.
And how old are you?
20.
Okay, that's probably why I don't know you, because I'm old as hell and you young as hell. So that's probably why. But I guarantee we know a lot of the same people, bro. I can almost guarantee you, bro. Because like I was telling you, like I literally grew up on the south side, in the hood, in the heart of the hood, on Evergreen Avenue. And everybody know what's popping over there on Evergreen and on the south. But, you know, my mom was one of them people. She was like, I don't want you in Youngstown City schools, you know, blah, 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 blah. So she enrolled me into Austintown Fitch, went and got a place in Austintown to make us eligible to go there. And, you know, I literally went to Fitch in the mornings, in the afternoon, and I would get dropped off over in Evergreen Avenue. And I would go to the Boys and Girls Club over there off of Earl in Chicago, I think. I can't remember the two streets, but there's a Boys and Girls Club on the south side of Youngstown. My mom.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I thought you said in Austintown.
Yeah, no, on the south. My mom actually was the supervisor there for years, bro. So I would literally get out of school and go there right out of school and go play basketball and all that with all the kids over there in the hood. And, you know, it taught me so much. And that's just kind of crazy. Like, so like, that's how I kind of, like, I guarantee we know a lot of the same people. But yeah, man, like, that's crazy. Like, but yeah, next time I'm home, bro, we definitely got to link. Like, I'm super excited to like post pieces of this and just like, I've never interviewed before. No one ever asked. So it just, I was excited that someone even wanted to. I was just like, who am I? Like, why? Like, you know, like that was kind of how I felt when I read your message. I was just kind of like, damn, they want to interview me of all people. Like, okay. You know, so, and then
I'm
when I found out
glad you came on here, bro. I'm definitely glad you came on here.
Me too, bro. And anytime, anything you need help with, anything, bro, just ask, bro. Like, I'm like I said, I'm super humble. I'm not against helping other people, and like that's what it takes in order for everybody to get where they want to be. You gotta have help from someone. There is no self-made people out there, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sick of hearing that. You're not self-made, bro. Someone helped you along the way. Someone knew this person or knew that or told you how to do this. Someone helped you, bro. So, you know, I try to make sure that I'm an open book to everybody. Like, you can reach out to me. Like, if you ever need anything, bro, just reach out. If you want me to come back on, reach out. Like, I'm here.
Definitely that is gonna be a part two. So in closing, did this interview make you feel good? Did you learn anything from it?
I did. I learned about myself a lot more, just as far as you know, just reflecting back on a lot of stuff, man. You brought a lot of old, just, I don't want to say memories, just a lot of like reflection today. Like, it just was dope to look back on just how I got to where I'm at. This interview is dope, man, because I'm really proud of where I come from and how I got to where I am. And I'm honored to be here. Like, I think it's gonna be dope to look back when I get big as fuck and look at like, damn, that was my first ever actual interview, bro, from somebody in the city. Like that's what better way, to do it than to do it your first time with somebody in your city. So
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
super excited about that.
That's love, bro. I'm definitely glad you're on here again, man. We definitely gonna get a part two going. We definitely
We
gonna
got
get a
to,
part
bro, for
two.
sure.
But as far as the music thing, man, I definitely see it. I see you. You know what I'm saying? And I just keep on shining. And the only way you're gonna, what I'm saying, get to that next level is if you go beyond. All right, man. We
Yes,
out of
sir.
here though. Love.
Yes, sir. My guy.
Hey, this here what I'm talking about. I just came to walk it out. Get these bands and walk them out. Let's take a chance, you talking now. You would think he frank because he keep counting the moolah. My bitch hot.